I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we have the minutes of August 16th.
I move approval of the minutes of August 16th.
I second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving along, we've got warrants 5, 5P, and Conservation Commission 2.
I'm gonna move that we approve warrants 5, 5P, and Conservation Commission number 2.
Okay,
I'll second that.
great. Discussion? All right, warrant 5 is for $796,047.17, and that is, most of that, $647,500 is going to the Dummerston School. It's one of the periodic payments that we go to. $85,000 is being put into the capital fund. That's a portion of what was voted on at town meeting. We had some gravel crushing, 2,310 yards at $3.50. And other appropriations that were voted on at town meeting. I have a list, but, so any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Let's see, we have, this is the portion of the program where we take public comment.
We're here to represent Whetstone Station and Campfires for the new business section.
Okay.
Tim and
Now, we could have you sit there and wait for the rest of our meeting to proceed. And I can tell you, they're very interesting meetings. Or we could set aside a time for you to explain what you'd like to do, and later on we'll take a vote on it.
Sure.
Does that sound all right?
Yeah, we're here, I guess, basically if you had questions about either of the applications.
Okay,
It's for a event with the Brattleboro Reformer, the Street Food Festival on September 23rd.
great.
I think it might help if you come up and
Yeah, do you want
identify yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. That'd be good. Do you know us?
I've met some of you before.
Okay.
I'm Geraldine Wilson.
Charlotte.
Steve Glayback?
I'm Zeke Goodband.
I'm Joe Cook.
I'm Tim Brady from the owner of Whetstone Station and Campfires, the campground.
And I'm the brewery manager at Whetstone Station, so I applied for the liquor permit to
Okay.
serve beer and wine.
All right.
And your name is?
James Brannigan.
What was your last name?
Brannigan, B-R-A-N-A-G-A-N.
Okay, so we have 2 items of business regarding Campfire. We have a special event waiver, and then we have the liquor catering permit. So do you want to give us the lowdown?
The special event is because we don't know the number of people that the reformer will end up attracting to this event. And during the initial application process, when we got the permit for events there, I believe the threshold was like 500 or so.
Actually, it's 250 guests.
250, okay. And so, not knowing what this event will end up being, we figured it would be wise to just, we've talked to the neighbors already, we've talked to the state, we've talked to the sheriff's department, the fire department, and we just thought we would address it with the select board as well. That it could be up to, say, 1,000 people over the course of the day.
Mhm.
So,
And the event is scheduled from 11 to
5.
Okay.
But with till 6, to get everybody out there. So public portion of the event is from 11 to 5. And then vendors will be cleaning up and stuff. There's no outdoor lighting in that section at all, so we need everybody out of there by dark. So.
Where exactly is this happening in the campgrounds? Is it down in the?
Yep, there's an old quarry.
Yep.
That we
Yep.
cleaned all up and graded it all out, and it's looking pretty nice. There's a natural kind of pitch to it with like a elevated portion at one end, so the band will be on that elevated kind of mound of And then it'll be, I think they have 14 or 15 local food truck and street food vendors coming to do different, and everything will be $5-ish. And it's free to the public. It's a charity event for the Vermont Food Bank, I believe. It's being run by New England newspapers. We're just the venue for it. So.
And parking for that many cars is where?
ABF, we have all, the church and ABF have both agreed to let us use that for parking, and there are 86 permitted marked spaces at the campground already. And the pending Act 250 permit, which everything is there, we're just waiting on the state. If they approve in time, then we have, that will be for that back field to be used as
Right,
parking,
okay.
right?
Oh, good.
Which would, add another 200 parking
Right, yep.
spaces, right?
Yep.
But there was like, we had to do soil samples and stuff, and so there was a little bit of a, so right now, we're planning on that not happening in time. I mean, it'd be great if it does, but if
Yeah.
not, that's why we've aligned. The ABF has agreed to let us use, all their parking and then the church next door. So that should be, I mean, and it's not gonna be, because it's over 6 hours, it's not gonna be like 1,000 people at once, it'll be like trickling in and out. We have 3 people that will be like specifically just managing parking as well. Wearing the fluorescent vests and putting people in spots, so.
And and the sheriff's department or the state police is actually gonna be out on Route 5?
They're
With
not
traffic.
committed to, they'll be available, I mean, like, they were advised of the event, but they're not, there's nothing, they're not gonna be, I mean, they can be present, they were invited, but.
I would certainly like to see them there because of that sharp corner and so much traffic that might not be familiar with.
Where
Where they're gonna park.
yeah.
It would be nice if you hired a sheriff's department to, that corner's kinda nasty, as you know, anyway, and that'd be my only concern. Or my concern.
Yeah, sort of like Walker Farm around Memorial Day.
Right, they do.
They have
Yeah.
a sheriff's person, just making sure traffic is moving safely.
Yeah, I mean, I can advise New England newspapers, I mean,
They actually would end up having to pay the sheriff's department to be there for the allotted time, but I think it might be wise. We'll discuss it probably later.
It's tough to tell, again, with it being the first
Right,
of this
yeah.
event, I mean, it's seriously weather dependent.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, so it's tough to tell if it's gonna be, 100 people or 1,000 people.
Yeah, we hope it's a great success, but.
Yeah, do you have any sense, Tim, from your experience of events, 11 to 5, what the more heavier times might be? Or
My guess is
it
that it's
just
gonna be like lunch, people are gonna come in the afternoon, I'm thinking that,
1 to,
like lunchtime, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you're
it's a
feeding
food
people, it's
event.
gonna be lunchtime.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
like people that are gonna come over, and then 1 to 3 kind of range. The circus school is doing a performance, there's gonna be I forget the band, but the guy that lives on Poplar Commons, he's in a band, and they're gonna play in the afternoon. So I feel like it'll be probably like at its peak in the afternoon.
and when you talk to the neighbors, how did those conversations go?
Good, yeah, they're all coming. We walked around with them and showed them the plan, and they had originally written a letter to the state asking to be a part of the Act 250, and they rescinded their request because they feel like we have a good relationship. I mean, different than the past. And we're receptive to all of their concerns. And,
Yeah.
I mean, we want it to be nice too, obviously.
Right,
I
you
mean,
want it
we
to be a
put lot
successful
into-
event.
Right, into
Yeah.
making that place a whole lot nicer, so.
Yeah, you have done a great job. Thanks.
So any more questions about the special event? So the request for liquor catering is just you're going to be serving.
Yes, and I've already contacted our DLC investigator for Wyndham County, Kim McLeod. She's approved all of it. We're gonna have fencing around the, it's essentially a bowl with trees, so there's a natural barrier, and then we're gonna have a fence running along the level part with only one entrance and exit, and then also a person checking IDs and braceleting people who are over 21. And we're serving beer from Weston Station. and a red wine, I think. So, and our bartenders are certified by the state. We don't serve anybody who shows signs of intoxication. And yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for them? So, we will, a little later, in our meeting, we'll be voting on these. And I can let you know later on this evening.
Sure.
I think I've got your emails.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim at campfires.com.
And James West Station.
And so just to be clear, so what will our vote be, Z? What are
We
we
will
actually voting on?
The Development Review Board has said that if an event of 250 guests or more, the advanced request will be given to the town select board. And so this is a request essentially to hold this event, and we will either, so it's up to us to
Okay,
say okay or not.
I see. Okay, good.
Or we could consider like
Saying if.
limitations, or we might ask that they provide a shirt for the state police, or, we might have, or, I'm sure you have plenty of porta potties and that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I think
all,
that
and
was
that's
a-
all outlined by the state,
Yep.
A&R, you know, so we have
Yeah.
porta potties and, all of that is, you know, outside of the campground, it's like its own. The amphitheater space has to be managed by itself.
Mhm.
So,
And then the second request is for a catering, like a
Right,
catering.
and that's
license.
normal.
Yep.
Good, great.
So let's go ahead, if you don't mind, write down your emails, and
Sure.
so I don't have to.
Here.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry. Would you be receptive if one of our conditions was that you did have a sheriff or state police on duty on Route 5?
It's tough because we're not the
Yeah.
event, you know, it's not our event.
Yeah.
I could, like I said, I could pass that on to the New England newspapers
Yeah.
people. You know, I don't know what that cost is. I mean, I'm a retired police officer, so I know it was pretty expensive when we used to go out.
I think it's around $50 an hour. I shouldn't quote
Cheaper
their
than
prices,
New
but it's in
Jersey.
that neighborhood. But it also, if there was a car with the blue lights going at the corner and somebody there, might be safer. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we have no, like I said, we have volunteers set up to deal with parking. And we also have a huge approach because the campground is designed obviously we can stack 12 RVs. So we have plenty of
Yeah.
pulling in space,
To
but
get
that
off
has
the
nothing
road.
to do with where you're gonna park.
Yeah.
We have never had, and actually this traffic study was part of our Act 250 review. We've never had anything, that was one of their concerns, was like people backing up, but because there's so much room to pull in, that has not, you know, before you need to park.
Right.
You know, the state, you know, didn't see that. I mean, if you're familiar with the lot, I mean, we can stack 12, you know, 52-foot, you know, trailer combos.
Yeah.
Like straight in, and then double that wide. You know, it's designed for, you know, and then ADF, the same thing. You know,
I'm
it's trucking.
probably too familiar with the parking there, because we kinda like an ice cream there once in a
Yeah,
while. So.
yeah,
And
so
we live
you-
right around the corner, so, right, see?
Yeah, right.
So then you know,
So
like,
we're probably
there's
too
that
familiar with
center,
it.
you know, gives a lot of
Right,
room
yeah.
to get off of the
Get
road.
off the road, yeah.
So, you know, I don't, you know, and we'll have, a banner and everything out there, you know, like, so people will know kind of like it's coming, you know, they'll have warning rather, and our plan was one of these volunteers would be out there to direct what, if our lot fills up, then that guy's gonna like be directing people into the ABF
Into
lot.
the next lot.
So there will be physical presence out there, you know, of one of the volunteers. They're coming from Vermont Food Bank is doing the parking, for us.
Okay.
So, but, yeah, I mean, and again, you know, we're certainly, you know, we've advised the sheriff department, and as I am like a retired police officer from New Jersey, and I have no problem, I mean, if things start to get squirrely, to make sure that it's addressed.
Yeah, I think Steve's concern is more people on Route 5
Yeah, the
driving at
visibility
50
of-
miles an hour. and there's this event, and when you see a marked car or a blue light or something, you know, it definitely has an impact on people who are just passing through, as opposed to people who are slowing down to go to an event. So I think that's the concern. Good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the public? Okay, all right. Great, thanks for coming
Yeah,
in.
thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Definitely.
thanks. Wish you
Good luck.
Good luck.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks.
All right, so, any other public comment?
No.
Okay.
Oh, here's your chance. You could be on TV with the rest of us.
No thanks.
All right. Then we have the road foreman's report, and so we need a road foreman for that, and there's one right
We have
here.
one.
Lee Chambers. Going to give us his brief and concise report.
Yeah, maybe brief. So the Canoe Brook Road, that's on the agenda.
Yes.
I did try contacting that phone number once, and I left a message saying I'll be getting back. I think it was next week. The culvert that they were talking about going underneath the driveway, I did see the top of it. So I haven't really come up with a plan, because you open the ends up and I'm sure it's plugged, but it's really I think it's about the first sign of it that I've seen, so it's just a matter of going back up there again. And the question was, down in the woods, whose responsibility is it? And it's out of the right of way is the landowner's responsibility. So it's just gonna let them know that.
So will you persevere and make contact and
Yeah.
pursue this?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah. Yeah, they, when they sent the first email, we just went up and put some gravel on it.
Yeah,
And then the second email came, so, but I knew we weren't gonna run up there right off because we just didn't have the time, and it wasn't that bad. So, the other things, we've been, these grants, that we have, I was just trying to make up a spreadsheet for them, and it's to remind myself also, but which ones we have, what's the status on them. So right now, we have that emergency grant. I don't know if everyone remembers these or not, but the emergency grant, that is, all the paperwork's turned into the state, and that is for the payback for the washing that happened in town. And that was 10% is what we had to pay on that. I didn't contact Megan to see, you know, what the status is as far as our payment, but she'll let us know. The pilot aid grant, which is this one, what we just completed, is the one we rented the excavator for. And it's mostly stone line ditching, removing berms, cutouts. Wyndham Regional came up, went around the area with us, explained what we had to do. And when we did this segment, we had to upgrade even the small culverts. Otherwise, we actually had to go back and redo one or put another one in. You just don't get paid for that segment. So there's the segments that we did on that grant. So right now, we are working on getting that paperwork into Wyndham Regional next week, and we should be good. That was up to $14,000. And that was all in-kind work, and that's why it's all laid out who did what, because that's what you have to hand in for information. So then we have the Category A grant through Better Back Roads, or Better Roads, or whatever you want to call them. and that's a $8,000, and that's for the erosion inventory through Wyndham Regional. They're the ones who, I don't know if we actually have to contract them, but they're the ones who are gonna do the work. Where we're gonna have to do 10% in kind on that. They were hoping to start this fall, but I hope they don't. But it has to be done by fall of 2018. Then we have the Category C grant, and that's through Better Roads also. And that was the $40,000 one for Wickeby Hill to do the stream bank, or not the stream bank, the bank erosion and riprap in the bank. That same thing, fall of 2018. We were planning on doing that earlier, but it's got put off by this other grant. I gotta reevaluate if we can have time in October or not to do it. It's gonna be a pretty big project. Okay, then we have this structures grant still open, and that's the Ron Bell for the engineering of the Stickney Brook Road culvert up near Sunset Lake. That's gonna be a 10%, but we put $1,000 into the budget for that, so that's good to go. And I have contacted him, and we're supposed to meet someday up there at 4 o'clock. Just haven't figured out what day it is. And then we have this grant that Charlotte and I worked on, which is the Environmental Mitigation Grant. And I think that was through V-Trans. I'd have to double check, but that was for $187,000. And we just sent in the paperwork a couple weeks ago, and that is to actually build the Stickney Brook Road project that we're getting the engineering done on. The only problem with that grant is it is a 20%. They worded it as you didn't have to get select board's approval when we send it in, but at some point it's going to be dependent on if you want to do it.
So the 20%, can that be in kindly or?
No,
Okay.
but there's supposed to be another grant coming out that we might be able to use for that 20%.
Oh, okay.
And it
And it
will
has
be
to
this
come.
fiscal year anyway.
Right, and that one I asked, right, it's, some of these are more, I think it has something to do with federal too, so some of them can be long-term projects, like 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's it on the grant, but, the Dodge truck, the new 1-ton, I did contact them, and I might have told you already, but the cab was in, and the body is, they said end of September, so I said mid-October. We'll see. Hopefully that works out. So, Upper Dummerston Road, the milling, talked with him today, and it is still, the plan is still Wednesday, next Wednesday. So we're gonna actually put road closed signs, but it'll be local for,
We talked about that.
yeah, alright, okay.
Mhm.
So everyone knows about that. We also, in the last couple, or whatever, 3 weeks, we did those 3 culverts on Park Lawton Road, 1 driveway on Spalding Hill, and 2 driveway culverts on Bunker Road.
Actually, Bunker Roads look really good too. Larry's got
All right,
over, that
yeah.
looked good.
Figured it might settle a little, we
Yeah.
packed it, but it.
Yeah, it looked good, and then actually even going up to the farmhouse there, the ditch and stone, that all
Yeah.
looked really good.
Where we, that grant that we handed around,
Yeah,
if you're really interested, if it is kind of cool to look at these sections that we did. Spalding Hill Road used to wash literally every 2-inch rainstorm, there'd be foot-deep ditches down it. And that 2 3/4 storm, it looks like it didn't even rain there.
Wow, that's great.
So we're actually working on Mountain View right now, but that's our own money. It's not through the grant because we have the excavator for 1 more week. So we've been there for a day and a half, but doing the same thing, but, I think that was about it.
Okay, let me see if I have something else in here. No, I guess that's. Any questions for Lee?
Well, just one personal thing, Lee. I noticed that at the Stickney Brook end of Leonard Road, so the, or is it Mountain View?
Yep, right there.
Mountain View, yeah. That there's a real, you have to go real slow there.
Yeah, we're gonna end up having to, and that's the problem with this next grant, is if we have time, because we do have a lot of that we have to get fixed before winter.
Where the roads come
Yeah,
together and
yeah.
then there ends up being.
Yeah, there's a lot of small washing along the road still.
Mhm.
It just seemed like every time we filled them in, it would rain the next week, and it just we had to move
It hadn't been
on.
compacted enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, yes,
yeah. It's a lot.
but,
Okay,
Good.
thank you very much.
Yeah, we
I know
really-
you
really
knew
appreciate
how to
you.
use the computer,
it's the only thing that saves me some days,
right?
but.
Good, thank you very
Good.
much.
Thanks, Lee.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Doing all right?
Fair. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thanks.
Okay, moving on. Correspondence for information. Anything you want to discuss from that list?
Are you gonna participate in that health survey?
I can,
Okay, all right.
yep.
Anybody else going to the rescue meeting tomorrow night? No? Okay. So I'll represent our board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm trying. It all depends what time we get done, but.
Okay.
Anything else there? Okay, moving on. Correspondence for discussion and or action. Just the VLCT annual business meeting. I don't know if we have to officially appoint you.
Yeah, which I thought we did last meeting.
We just didn't have the official form.
We didn't have the official documentation,
Yes.
yeah.
So, we've already done this then.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then, but what, you might want,
Okay, if there's something in the municipal, VLCT's municipal,
what they're,
planning, or in their positions, municipal positions, if we as a board have an issue with something in particular, we can submit a request to amend a position, or you can, as a board, we can submit testimony. Usually what happens is during the discussion, there is a book in there that shows you all the changes, and I'll usually comment based on what I think is right for Dummerston. But if there's something particularly, if there's something particularly we wanna address, that's what this is, we can.
right,
And occasionally towns do it, usually they do it through the representative that's there. But
right. So,
if there's something that you would like the league to promote legislatively that they're not already doing, we can submit a request.
and if you feel strongly about stormwater in municipal roads or telecommunications, growth of multiple land use, public safety funding, law enforcement issues, there
Those
are
are all,
questions.
These are all things that we go through
Yeah.
that one day. And actually, Maria was with me last year. It's a long day, but it's really interesting. And a lot of these are strictly Senate structural changes sometimes, and sometimes they're real policy changes, but,
But if there was something that you wanted to, Steve will represent the
Right.
town, and so
Right,
if you
yeah.
have a strong feeling about something, you can talk with him.
And did we get a copy of this by email?
that's it right there.
Yes.
I know, did I get it by email though? Do I have it?
I think so. I think so.
I don't know. I was gonna take that one after tonight's meeting to scratch on, but
Yeah.
Good.
One of the, or maybe our select board assistant our interim select board assistant could finish the rest
Yep.
of that. and
Yep.
Mail it in.
I think if you handed it to me, I would see that it got there.
Excellent.
Oh, this is even better. Geraldine's gonna pass it right over. And I think Lori already, or was gonna sign us up anyway, sign me up anyway.
Okay. So, there.
We still have another meeting, by the way, so if there's something in there, I mean, I'd like to take that to study it, but, and look online, and if there's something you find online, let me know, and we can discuss it at the
Yeah,
next
I
meeting.
would think it would also be online. Want to move on?
Yes.
Okay. We have a request for a special event waiver from Campfires on Route 5. Where's that go? Oh, it's right here. It's for September 23rd. What would you like to do?
Well, I guess I would move that we approve the special event waiver with the condition that they have, they or the sponsor engage the services of either the Vermont State Police or the Wyndham County Sheriff's Office to monitor traffic.
Second that.
Okay, discussion?
So what you're saying is you're gonna make it contingent on that?
Right.
Yes,
The approval would be contingent on them hiring the traffic
And
control.
is it, are you imagining it for the entire, that they would hire somebody from 11 to 5?
I am, but I mean, if it's pouring rain all day,
Yep.
it could be that,
But I mean, that's a
Yeah.
little, I wonder if we need to be clear on
Yeah.
what that means.
well, I think they're probably gonna hold the event regardless. So,
Right, but when you hire
Yeah.
somebody and you schedule it, then they're there and you pay them.
right, I think so.
I would suspect that the sheriff's department would be flexible if it was a pouring rainy day or at 3 o'clock, traffic dropped to nothing. I know at Walker Farm, I think they're quite flexible with them. I know when I go down through there and I see the blue lights, it reminds me to slow down at Walker Farm. I think on that sharp corner, and if you got people exiting and going into the campground, I think it would be good prudence to warn people. And
Save a life for $50 an hour?
yeah, I mean, maybe they can negotiate with the sheriff's department or the state police too, I don't know.
Yeah, give them,
That would be up to them. All we're saying is they need this, in Vermont, and I could be corrected on this, but I don't think you can just put somebody out directing traffic. That's why when you see power companies working beside the road, or even the town guys, they actually have to go to school and get
Oh,
certified.
no, you gotta know.
So when they say there's volunteers out there in
Yeah,
the traffic,
no, that's
that
Yeah,
inside the parking lot they can have volunteers, but standing in the middle of Route 5, I think you want a law enforcement person. And I appreciate Joe's thought too. And again, I think they would use common sense. If it was raining, I don't think the sheriff's gonna wanna stand out in the rain, and if things got slow at 3 o'clock, I would.
well, I just didn't know if you were committed, when you hire the sheriff, that you're committed for what you've scheduled them for. I don't know. what the level of
Anytime I've
flexibility is.
talked with them, they've been extremely flexible on anything that I've discussed with them. And I would think they would be on this, but this would be up to them to make their arrangement.
yeah.
So we don't wanna just recommend it, we actually wanna require it.
I would want, yeah, and they might get the state police instead, they could get either one, but as long as it's law. And I had hoped to contact the state police today and talk to them and see what their thoughts were, but I didn't, I was working on something else here for Zeke, and I didn't get time, but, I think it's a reasonable request.
Yes, I guess if it were with the understanding that weather or, a dismal turnout, then they could pulled the plug on the sheriff early. That's what I would, with that understanding. That, you know, if the event's essentially over at 2:30 because of the weather, then the sheriff doesn't have to, you know,
Right.
stay
Sit
out there
there
until
until
5.
5, yeah, or 5 o'clock, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's pretty reasonable, that that's the only request we would put on a possibility of 1,000 people showing up, that's,
Right, because I'm thinking that we have another request for traffic control on a busy
Yeah.
road, and I definitely want to have that.
so we need to stay consistent anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're sort of going to be bound by our decision, because
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen, but there's a full-page ad in the paper a
I
couple of
did.
days ago promoting the event.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've really, I mean, you probably heard, they've really gone out of their way to try to smooth things over with the people next door. They've really, I think they've done a great job trying to communicate with the people next door, and I just can't imagine that this would be a backbreaking thing for
Right.
them.
And they, if we let them know this evening, then they, the event is the 23rd.
Oh, yeah, they have plenty of time.
They have time. We have a few more meetings if they want to appeal this decision, but any more discussion?
Who would they appeal it to?
Us.
Us.
To change
Just
the
to change the
decision.
condition.
Oh, okay.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I'll let them know that we've approved this and conditional upon the sheriff or state police to provide traffic control on Route 5. And the length of time is dependent on the amount of traffic and the weather. All right. Let's see, what's next? Oh, the Dummerston Views deadline.
What about the liquor catering? Is that going to be later on?
That's
Where's
next.
that? We'll have to become the liquor commissioners,
Right,
and
okay.
so I'm working up to that.
Okay.
So the views deadline, usually, because Hugh is not here, we would assign him, but he did,
I think he did the last one.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that would seem hitting a man when he's down. So I would suggest one of the three of you decide to take this on.
I think
when
maybe
does it do?
I think maybe I did the one before.
I don't mind doing it.
All right. Do you want to
I'm
arm
not
wrestle?
gonna arm
Unless you'd
wrestle.
rather, yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm not arm wrestling.
You have,
So, Steve, will you have been at the VLCT event? When is
Yeah,
that?
that's in October.
That's in October, okay.
Thank you for taking that, Steve.
Yeah,
Yes.
appreciate
yeah,
it.
it's my turn.
I thought
I don't
we were
mind.
going-
I think it was about this time when I did the last one.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
All right. Moving on. Well, I'm grateful to you. Anyway,
I am grateful also.
yeah. So,
I'm gonna move that
This is
we
the-
recess the select board
the
meeting
drum roll, please.
and that we convene as a liquor control board to hear our request.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Here we are. Campfires is requesting a liquor catering permit. I know it's in the green folder, but there it is. For a event on November 23rd. We've been talking about this.
September 23rd?
September 23rd.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna
Let's
move
at
that
least
we,
get that right.
that we approve their catering permit.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Very good. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll let them know that. Good news.
I think we now could, I'm gonna move we adjourn as a liquor control board and reconvene our select board meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wow, we are doing this.
Must be I wanna go home tonight,
Switch
huh?
off, yeah. Okay, now, going on to unfinished business. We have a request
Oh, God.
pending for a marathon on Route 30 and Quarry Road. This is Savage Racing LLC. And we have, Steve, you've done some research and,
Yeah, basically you must have all seen the letter that I sent him, the note I sent him based on our questions at the last meeting. And we got his response back. I was a little disappointed in his response. I would have liked to have him say that he would contact the sheriff's department and follow up on our recommendations. One of the things he stated was that he would put traffic control people at the two bridges, but I would insist that they be sheriff or state police. Again, they would not be trained, they would not be certified. And we already have enough problems on the covered bridge with people trying to get through, so I think you would need law enforcement there.
What day of the week again it is?
May 16th, 2018.
It's a weekday, as I recall.
Yeah, I think it's a
Wednesday.
weekday.
It is a weekday, the other thing I told him I was concerned with him with 50 participants. You probably all read the thing, but just for people that don't know, our concerns also were for parking at the covered bridge. If he had 50 participants, there are several people that use that as a parking ride. And if he had it full of vehicles, that would be pretty inconvenient for our local people. I asked him about porta potties. The sheriff's department would definitely want cones all the way down the road and signage. And the other concern we had was with bicycles. They were apparently going to cross Route 5, so they would
Cross Route 5?
or cross Route 30, I mean, so they would actually be in the bicycle lane, right? Isn't that what they were going to do? They were going to cross.
So they're going to stay, isn't it?
Oh no, they're going to stay on the side, right? So they would
Okay.
then be looking at oncoming bicycles in the bike lane as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concerns here, and I didn't feel that he really addressed any of them. His answer was, when he came into the town office, that nobody told him these are concerns that the town would have. Well, you know, it hadn't come to the select board yet, so. So quickly, I just said, has he contacted the sheriff's department or the state police? How many law enforcement personnel is he planning to have in the two bridges? Because the two bridges are major traffic congestion points already without the people. Where was he planning on parking the participants? Maybe he'd need off-site parking. And what he was doing about porta potties and where were they located? Has there been any attempt to talk to the residents along Quarry Road to inform them of what was going on? Had he contacted Rescue Inc., so there was emergency personnel, and he also, I felt, should contact the fire department, because if the fire department had to get across either bridge,
Right.
I just didn't think we got a lot of answers.
This is supposed to start at 6 a.m. on Wednesday.
Oh, he also had buses that we were concerned with.
Okay.
I was concerned.
Yeah, so that's going to be the peak commuting
Yeah.
time for those bridges and Route 30.
School buses?
No, the commuting time.
Yeah, and school buses too.
So, yeah.
I personally would like him to put forth an answer to all the questions that we submitted to him, and have him follow up with the sheriff's department or the state police.
Well, maybe we should just say no.
Yeah,
I mean, let's just cut it.
and if he wants to come back with some revised plan, we can look at it again. He's got until May.
Well, but he has to advertise
Yeah,
this,
sure.
he has to get his, you know,
Yeah.
he's,
I mean, we're the ones that are familiar with the area, and he's not. And as I said at the last meeting, there's a lot of better places,
it
you know,
just
for this
doesn't
event in
seem
the
like
area.
an ideal spot to me.
Right.
I find it
Yeah.
quite odd.
They could do a loop past your house through the gate, you know, come
Yeah.
back around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I suggested, you know, Grassy Brook Road and
Yeah, not a
Brookline.
place where people are going
Uh,
50 miles an hour.
Right,
I mean, there have been, like, didn't the hospital do a
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
when, along, I mean, there is
And
a
they had
nice
cones separating
shoulder.
traffic, they did have people there.
Did they go across the bridges?
Yes, yeah, they did go across the covered bridge, so they must have crossed the other one. That's the thing too, I would hate, I mean, I would wanna have a legitimate reason for doing this so that we didn't, like if a hospital or somebody wanted an event, that we didn't close the options. The thing here is I just feel like he didn't respond to any of our concerns.
I guess I would say to him, with all due respect, you know, you haven't addressed some of our concerns. We believe there are some better venues in the area. Would you like some suggestions?
Yes, and that there are safety concerns that we don't feel have been addressed. So I entertain a motion on this.
I thought Joe almost hit it right on the
Yeah.
head.
I was waiting, but I didn't.
I'd be glad to write a letter.
We needed a motion.
I'll move that then that we decline this request,
Okay,
and that Joe will write a letter,
yes, regarding.
regarding our
safety
concerns and why we declined it, yeah.
concerns. Yeah, all right.
And so, well, I'll second that so we can have discussion.
Okay,
So I guess my question is, are we saying no, or are we saying that, like, if you were to come back with more specific responses to our concerns, that we would reconsider?
I think that's what Joe's letter would tell him, that first off, we think there might be other venues. If he wanted to continue on this one, I think we would need him to address our concerns
Right.
before we would even hear the request again.
Okay.
Would that be?
So at this point, we're declining
Yeah.
it.
mhm.
Yeah. Can I have the paperwork as well?
Sure. Okay, any more discussion? Yeah, I just
Thanks, Joe, I think it's great coming from you,
Yeah,
think,
happy to.
our lawyer.
yeah, having, crossing the bridge like that
Yeah.
time of
Yeah,
day,
that time of day.
Just-
Just,
not good.
Tell them, you know, I travel with that bridge every day.
you do, yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, so a motion to deny this request. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Joe, thank you for
Sure.
taking that on. Is there any other business?
Jen Sargent, who was the applicant, one of the applicants for the DRB,
Yep,
I've tentatively set her up for 5:15 on the 13th. Is that something that people could make for her interview?
13th of September,
Yeah, that'd be our next meeting.
and the interview would be for
DRB.
DRB, I'm sorry you said that.
And the other applicant, Diana, couldn't make it on the 13th.
Right, I remember now, you said you were gonna say.
About the prospective select board.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when will we discuss
did you see
that?
that?
I did, yeah,
Okay.
but I didn't know if you could,
Yeah, when,
we could set her interview up, could we?
Yeah.
Couldn't we?
sure.
I'd like to set an interview at a different time, like before a separate time, so
Okay.
that if we wanted to hire her, we could, you know, do it
Oh,
at
hold a
that meeting.
special meeting?
Yeah. That would be my
Okay.
suggestion, but so let's
Okay.
do the DRB thing first, so we're,
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do anything, I've just got it set up, assuming that
Okay,
at
that,
least 3 people can make it.
that works for me.
Okay.
Maybe we've got a backlog of social service advisory candidates, so maybe I try to get one for the
Mhm.
5 o'clock
yeah.
on 5.
Since both DRB people couldn't make it, we wanted to leave that open for both
Yeah.
of them, but one of them can't make it, so social services.
Social services, so I'll try to set one interview up for that. Why am I saying May 13th? Thinking of that race. Okay, okay, so when would you like to try to set up an interview with?
The potential select board
board?
assistant.
Yes,
Well,
How about next Wednesday?
August 30th.
Are we still thinking of trying to have a work session?
we were.
It'd be nice if we could,
Combine.
Yeah, I'll say.
So you're saying on the 6th,
Yep.
Joe? Yeah, I could meet on the 6th, especially if we met. I don't think I'd be able to be here before 5:30 on the 6th.
was Hugh available on the 6th?
He
You
sent
sent a
his,
message,
Because
yeah.
I know he wanted to be available for the work session.
yeah, I can't
6th
remember.
September.
I remember.
I I can find that email from him pretty quickly.
Do you wanna say 5:30, Jerome?
That would be best for me.
Okay.
And we could start it off with a select board.
August, September. He didn't say anything about the 6th because that's not a regular meeting.
Right.
He said the
Oh, that's
13th, I
right,
will
yeah.
be at a regular meeting, 27th I will not, but he didn't say anything about the 6th. Would you like me to get in touch with him and
Sure.
see if he's available on the 6th?
Yep.
And then, at that point, we would schedule a work session
Yes,
and we would start it with an interview?
yes,
Okay,
that's what I would suggest. And the work session would be preliminary budget.
Right, yeah.
right, so we
Scheduling.
would be able to discuss certain
Yeah,
topics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll get in touch with Hugh about the 6th, and then I'll contact you,
Sure.
and then you would contact the candidate,
Yes,
the applicant, and let us
And-
know, confirm
right.
with us. And then you would have Lori warn the meeting and
yes,
all of that.
and the office will be closed on Monday, so the sooner you
Yeah,
hear, let me know.
okay, good.
And we'll get it.
All right. So he's not here tonight because he's out of town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other business?
But we wouldn't need Rich to be here or anything, cause that
No,
might
no,
be
not for a
about a
work session.
5-minute meeting, yeah.
He's
Right.
welcome to come, he's a nice fellow, and I know he enjoys.
I know he enjoys being around with us, yeah.
But he wouldn't have to be here.
Nothing else?
Let's see,
I'm gonna move we adjourn unless you tell me there's something else you needed to do.
no, I'll, 5 minutes from now, I'll remember.
Want me to adjourn in 5 minutes then, is that it?
No.
I'm gonna move we adjourn the meeting.
Is Lee still here? He could go over a little bit more grant
I'll-
material.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.